Blueprints was a game that really stood out this year for people having like a really positive reaction to something unexpected and different. A lot of comments like, "Well, I'm not going to play anything like this year." And I remember when I opened it up, I kind of joked that it was like Myst meets Clue, just in terms of the aesthetic and the approach. Obviously, the more you play it, the more you realize that's not really true, but I could see the inspirations. And what was so fun about this game was the sense of discovery, reading little things in the rooms, trying to get a sense of the story as essential or inessential as you deem it. But like any other roguelike, obviously you have a better and better, you set yourself up for a better and better attempt at a good run each time. You have some that are pretty rough, but you sort of learn how the game is played over time. And then when you finally have a complete run where you find room 46, it was just so beautiful that little small things like moving a mine cart or changing water levels on a previous run was what allowed me to get through it and not have the disappointment of getting all the way to the antechamber and then not being able to wrap up the rest, which always feels terrible. And to see all those things come together and to discover it and then just to see the cinematic, and the cinematic is so melancholy and so sweet and so tender in a way where I can't even claim to know all the details of it. I haven't played it much past a few hours of my first run. I felt satisfied with it, but there's so much more story to get, kind of figuring out what happened with your mom and the rest of your family, and reading more. But I really felt like I was in one of those three investigator novels that I read as a kid, where I'm writing down notes and I'm figuring things out. I'm doing math puzzles, I'm doing little number code clues, and those things are really satisfying and really, really fun to have differently, to have like as a different experience than most games. And just there is just a quiet sweetness to this game, which I really, really appreciated. And I'm glad that something like that comes around every once in a while. On a different tangent, and this is not something that is necessarily the fault of this game or anything, but there is still a moment where I'm playing it early on where you're realizing that I'm just again playing another game now that came out in the last few years that has roguelike elements and is balanced around roguelike elements. And while I understand it for this game and the concept around it, I just feel like we're missing out on narrative opportunities and creative opportunities by having so many games be gamified this much. And it becomes mathy, and you lose out on the attempts, you lose out on opportunities to create story and narrative when so many games have a repeating mechanic like this. And it we must be surely at some sort of peak, right?